Hello YouTube and welcome back this evening to another Rage video where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking into account of Day 6 by Ayreon's The Human Equation, adoptly named Childhood. Now, we're going to see exactly maybe what we're going to almost take this back to almost the very beginning. Because I thought to myself a little bit that why would we want to be discussing Labree's, or at least the character he portrays, his childhood? What correlation does that sort of like have? Does that stem from the idea about why his feelings might be repressed? It's the only thing I could possibly think of, but we're going to take a look and find out for ourselves just what the cause and effect is all about. So, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, you know what to do. Let's begin. Childhood in 3, 2, 1, and...
hiding from the world, staring at the ceiling.
Mother said he'll be home soon, but he never was, and I knew how she was feeling.
You always let him down, you'd never be like him. He'd always break you, never let you win. No matter what you said, he'd always disagree. You swore that one day you would be better than him. One day you'd win.
You're hiding out in the cellar, aching and ashamed, covering up the bedroom. How could you learn to care when nobody cares for you?
Mother said he'd be home soon, but he never came. As for me, he didn't have to.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is... on that very somber and very sad note, is going to conclude Day 6, Childhood, where we basically come to the acceptance that Labrie's childhood, at least the character he plays, I've referred to him as, well, as Labrie, i.e. after the act, as James Labrie and all that. It's become increasingly apparent his childhood was, and I think it's important to say childhood because it implies that his whole childhood revolved around his father looking down on him with such contempt that he took to abusing him for being insufficient, for being useless, almost for granted. In fact, he even took this to such a, I think, just what, like, that's just, I could honestly put my hand on my heart, ladies and gentlemen, and say that I would, if the day I was, if, no, not if the day would occur and I would just left forever, no, I would never lay my hands on my own children. That is just, you just don't do that. It's as simple as that. And what relevance, maybe this is, I almost want to get the impression that the whole point behind these, because goodness knows what is the next part of this, by the way. Well, technically the next part is like separated into two parts because Day 7 is only about 2.5 minutes in length, and then Day 8 is only about 4.5. So Day 7, Hope, and then School, meaning to, what I can only amount to is that something, like, I've always been the one to say that, following from the story of Pandora's Box, is that Hope was the very last sprite to be released from Pandora's Box, because it was as a sign of mercy by the gods that Jupiter had plagued the earth for no particular reason, and that Hope was in place so that whenever tragedy occurred, it would be there to put things right again, or to believe that there is still another day to come. And I think, especially in a period like this, where as of today, the UK has officially surpassed the 100,000 death mark as a result of COVID-19, and maybe you could say this is in times like this to families who are grieving, families who have been purged by the virus. You could easily stand and say very fervently that this is where hope is more important than ever, because if there isn't, then this is the world that it's come to, and it's a travesty beyond words. It really is. But I couldn't even begin to sit here and begin to imagine to myself what on earth my life would have been like if I was beaten as a child, or goodness knows what else, because that is just sounds like absolute hell. I mean, I didn't like being hurt as a child. No child likes being hurt. That's because of the pain that just ensues, especially at a young age, is just unbearable for words to even put into words. And what I want to emphasize sort of like next is very simply, well, as simply as I could put this, it's a terrible thing to talk about, is that it achieved its objective. And it's summarized, and I'm beginning to get the idea now that the last line of each song is dedicated to our speaker himself, because he seems to like detail the events, and possibly that little solo as a passage of time of him getting beaten as a child and then his father finally leaving, and now he has chance to just reflect upon this, and then you could tell immediately that the abuse obviously did its objective. Mother said he'd be home soon, but he never came. As for me, he didn't have to. The job had been done. And now, and I couldn't even I couldn't explain exactly what might have happened next, whether or not his father left because of guilt. I doubt it. I doubt people who really do abuse children really do feel guilt or remorse, because they would have also felt, things like common sense, i.e. you don't attack your own children. I don't know how much I have to emphasize that, but that is just... It doesn't make sense to me, because it's illogical and immoral in every single capacity. And I'd be hard-pressed to necessarily find people who will disagree with me, especially on subjects like this. So, where on earth do we go from here? What is... having a whole day to reflect on that must be like a nail through the heart. It really must. Still, like I said, tomorrow we're doing Hope and School, so maybe there will be a turn for the better in all this. It's not so much life before his eyes, it's life slowly replaying itself in his head to up until the event of the accident, perhaps. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video to Day 6 Childhood. Please make sure to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Childhood by Ayreon. Please also make sure to like and subscribe to get daily notifications when my videos come out. And I hope to love you guys again in the next reaction video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.